Hi, I'm Dennis Gage and welcome to My Classic Car. Well, this week we're in Emmett, Idaho for the Emmett Show and Shine. I was here 7 years ago. It was a big show. This year, it's even bigger. Beautiful day, a little toasty, but I'm telling you there's some great stuff. So let's get around and check out some of these Idaho rides. Check this out. 6-string, 4-string. This is the detail kid right here. This kid details, and he knows his stuff. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Dennis, how you doing, man?
Well, I'm a little warm, but...
You think?
Yeah, you think, but it's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat. I've been telling you that all along.
And you were right. Well, actually, it's fun. It is actually funny because I checked the weather app just for fun. It's 95 right now, but the feels like temperature is 91.
Oh, yeah.
It's lower because of the low humidity.
Right,
It's insane.
right.
You got some healthy cars here, like that one. But you actually have everything here. That's what I love about this show. And I was here, I think 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
It's his truck. It's his truck. Dig that. It's his truck. Again, still. It was big. It's bigger now. Do you have any idea how many cars you have today?
I think we're right around 1050, 1100 probably.
Wow. Because I mean, you're parking on the back 40 over there.
Oh,
huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
They came in fast this morning. They were lined up. I got here at 4:15 this morning, and they were already lined up out here.
And we landed here before 8, and it was 3/4 full already. Really diverse cars. That's what I noticed last time we were here. It's like, yeah, a lot of cars, but really interesting stuff and really, really wide variety. And you draw from quite a ways, don't you?
Yes, yes. I've got people here from Seattle, Washington, some from the Portland area over in Oregon, people up from Utah.
Yeah, I mean, people are driving like 300, 400, 500 miles to be here. But I think the show's, developed a pretty good reputation.
It has.
It's like, and I've talked to other people about, I'd really never been to Emmett before, but then I came to the show and I've been back every year since.
Yeah.
What number is this?
This is 36.
36, wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great show. I mean, it's only gotten better. I think you guys do a wonderful thing. Let's go look at a few of these.
You bet, let's go.
Eileen Roth, AKA Trixie.
It's so wonderful to see you.
And all this wonderful rat big stuff. Oh, I love it. Well, Mac, I really dig this car, and I can't remember the last time I saw a 64 Skylark. You see almost every other year, but these you just never see for some reason. Did you ever run into another one?
Not a 64, no. I see there's a 65 that runs around here once in a while, but I've not seen another 64.
66s, 67s, but this is really, it's really different, and it's been in the family quite a while, right?
Yeah, it's been in the family since back in the early 80s. This is my wife's dad's daily driver back then.
Really? Was it always red? Because this isn't a Buick
It was
red.
originally, it was canary yellow with the white top. In 1999, he had it painted this ruby red.
So this is a 1999 paint job on it?
Yes, 1999.
And do you drive it?
Drive it every day.
Well, it held up really well. When did you have it pinstriped? Because I think that's a nice touch.
It was pinstriped at a car show in Vancouver, Washington back in 2000.
Wow, so that's been on for a while.
It's been on for a long time.
Wow. So have you re-chromed it?
No, I've not re-chromed it. That's all original at this point.
Has it always lived out here?
Yeah, Lewiston, Idaho is where
Oh,
it
no
was
kidding.
from.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm just shocked it's in that good a shape. And everything's really straight on it. So have you done anything to it body-wise since you got it?
Not body-wise. I had to buff the paint out a little bit, work on that to get the shine back out on it. Put new wheels and tires on it, bagged it, and then redid the interior, and then it's just after that, it's just drive it.
Just drive the heck
enjoy
out of it, right? I think one of the things that I really love about this car is this roof. And this is a factory deal up here, right?
Yes.
But that whole thing that's bordered all the way to the back came that way from the factory.
Yep, they were that way from the factory.
And it was originally, what'd you say, yellow?
It was canary yellow with the white top.
But man, you know, you come to about 67 and they did the flying buttress roof, you know?
Yes.
And this kind of, you can see that, you know, you can see it kind of woven in here. And the sail panel is beautiful. And to throw those pinstripes on there, ooh, I mean, I just really love this car. I don't know if you can tell, but I really like this car. And how about the interior? That's got to have been redone.
Yes, we redid the interior. That was one of the things that I did after I got it, was completely gutted the interior.
Were you able to find a kit for it?
Oh yes, you can find it online. You can find the entire kit for this. And then the parts that I couldn't do, I had an upholstery guy help me like redo the ceiling panels and that kind of stuff.
Like, so the headliner is
Headliner's
all new?
Yep, that's all new too.
But your dash is stock 64.
Yep, with the exception of that centerpiece where the stereo and stuff is, I built that panel so that we could put the stereo and the bag system in there.
What was there before?
That would have been just the radio, and the air conditioning vent was there. It's basically the same units in there, just a different look so that everything fits a little better.
Man, it's just really nice. And you added 3 gauges so you knew what was actually going on.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Gosh, it's just so nice, and it looks, you know, I mean, this was a sporty car. You got bucket seats, and you were styling in 64 with this thing.
Yeah.
So back here, you've got, you know, some other details, some nice pinstriping there, and I've always liked how this kind of, you know, dishes in, dishes out, dishes back in, and still here, no re-chrome. It's all
no re-chrome. That's all original.
And original taillights and everything. Nothing's really been changed. Gosh, you know, you get back again. You get back here, that roof just changes this whole car. It's almost a different car when you're just looking at the rear 3/4 view.
And what's really cool, when you look at that roof line and the way that comes back, it's exactly the way the back wheel wells come down as well.
Oh, you know, it really is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, does this still have a nail head in it?
It has a 300 nail head in
A
it.
300?
Yep.
Wow. Let's go look at that.
All right.
Buick Skylark. And that is the right block color. It's kind of that silver blue, but a 300.
Yep, 300, and
Well, it's definitely a nail head. I mean, those valve covers
it's
stand
got the
straight
up valve covers. Got the smaller valves in it as well. So.
So I missed that engine, I guess. It looks like a nice fit in there. It looks like you can work on it. Does she run well?
It runs great. This thing drives like a dream. It's just fun to get out and cruise in it.
Has it ever been rebuilt? Or is that just
Not that I'm aware of.
How
It's
many
not been
miles?
rebuilt. So it's 167,000
Oh, you're kidding? Without a rebuild?
without a rebuild.
For an engine of that vintage, that's almost unheard of.
Yeah.
Wow, it's just
It runs great, just floats down the road. It's fun to take out. My wife and I just take it out and cruise in it. Just have fun.
I bet. So, and like when you're at a show, you've got to be the only guy with one.
I've never seen another one at any show, the 64. Especially without the post. You never see the Skylarks without the post on the sides.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You mean a hardtop version?
Well, the post between the doors.
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
No
So
post. Yeah, so
they're all sedans.
they're all sedans. You just don't see. You just
No,
don't
it's
see
a.
that.
This is a. I love this car. I love the whole lines, all the way through. So, have you been to the Emmett show before?
No, this is my first time out
Oh yeah,
here.
what do you think of it?
I love it.
Isn't it cool?
I love it. I love it. I love the amount of cars. I like to just get out and see the stuff that's out here. And
Yeah.
what I love about this is I'll have people come up and you'll see an older couple come up and stand and they'll be, you know, looking at the car. And when you start talking to them, you'll find out it's the same car they had when they
one?
were in
Yeah.
high school or whatever. It's just fun to hear the stories about it.
So those are people that know it, but does this car get people stopping because they don't know it?
I would tell you the white interior stops people probably
Yeah.
as much as anything. They just
Yeah.
don't get the white interior. So.
Yeah, and the white interior with the white. I mean, I really dig this car. If you can't tell. Thanks for bringing it out. 64 Buick Skylark with a 300 nail head.
Thank you.
Gotta love it.
Yep.
Well, Anthony, I got to tell you, I love this car. It's an '86 Fiero, right?
Yep.
And boy, it's really gold is not a common color on these, and it really reflects the light on a very bright day.
Yes, it does.
But I think this is probably the only Fiero I've ever had on the show.
Really?
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, it's an '86, and there was a time when that wasn't an old car. But guess what? It is now.
It's pretty old now.
It's
yeah.
pretty old now. So, but you're not.
No.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
You're 22.
Yep.
Okay.
Couple
so,
days, I'll be 23.
Wow. Happy birthday in a couple days.
Thank you.
So, why this car?
Well, you know, my brother bought it in Winnemucca originally, and he was just looking to flip a car. Got it for $3,200, and I was like, you know, he brought it home.
Really?
And
$3,200?
yeah. Yep.
Was it in pretty good shape?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay,
it
well,
was
that explains it.
it's pretty beat up, weather worn, but you know, he brought it home, and I was kind of looking at it, and I'm like, I really love this car. And so, you know, I bought it off him and decided I'm gonna fix this thing up and start taking it to shows and drive it around.
And you did.
Yes, I did.
And by golly, I did. So when was that? How long ago did he buy it, and then you get it from him?
So he originally purchased it in 2021 in February.
Oh, okay.
And by March of 2021, I said, I want the car. I didn't even have to see anything else on it. I said, I really love it. I love the body style, love that wedge shape.
Yeah.
And I said, this is the one.
I really loved these. They, you know, and they made them from what?
84 to 88.
84 to 88. There was a problem. The early ones had a tendency to like
burst into flames.
burst into flames.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a good option.
No.
That is not a good option on a car. They got that squared away though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad that this one doesn't burst into flames on me.
Yes, really, it's really a good thing. And I would have to say the vast majority of these things were red, weren't they?
Yeah,
I mean, every time
that
you see
was
a
the
Fiero,
popular
they're
color.
But I don't, like I said, I don't think I've seen a gold one. But it wears this color really well.
I'm not a big gold guy either, like you. But you know, I saw this thing in gold, and once I got it repainted these past couple months, I was like, you know, this really suits the car.
Really, and is this a stock?
Yep,
Fiero?
factory gold.
Factory?
This is what it came in, so I just had it redone
And
as so.
is it it's a base coat, clear coat?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yep, two-step.
Because
Yep.
they did a great job on it.
Yeah.
Did you have to get a new front end? Or?
No, this is all the original.
Really?
Everything, just sanded it down, took it in, and got it painted.
So the paint was bad, but the body wasn't beat up.
No, surprisingly, there's not even any cracks on the dash.
Wow.
These rims are the original ones, you know, that go on there. We were just like, you know, the 200s were too small, so let's just bump it up a size to the 205s and the 215s in the back, and I think it really brings it all together. Because otherwise, there's a pretty big gap in the fenders.
Yeah,
So-
and it looks better. I mean,
Yes.
I think that really looks good on it. And the interior is excellent too, because these are usually, you know, just beat to death and all ripped up.
Yeah, I
Is
was
this a stock-
surprised.
You've obviously redone it.
Yeah, so the only thing I've actually redone is the seats. The
Oh,
seats
really?
were cloth, and they were pretty beat up. They were starting to rip,
Yeah.
you know, where people get in and out. And so we went with a guy in Florida who does custom seats for Fieros and Corvettes. So ordered them off there, sent him our Fiero badges out of the cloth seats, and he
you
sewed
stitched them in?
Yep,
Oh,
he
no
stitched them in
kidding.
just for a little extra, and then he sent us back, you know, directions how to put them together. And we
So
put
do
'em
you
in.
just get back the covers, and then you have
Yep.
to? No kidding.
Yep, he sends you the glue and everything, and you just put it all together.
So did you do that?
Yeah, my dad and I, we worked on it
How
together.
tough was that?
You know, the first one, kind of figuring it out.
Second one, not so bad.
Second one went a lot smoother. Yep. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, you have your headliners.
Yeah.
You know, pretty good, and the dash is great, and the map pocket.
Yep.
Does it even have a glove compartment? Not
Nope.
really.
Nope. The glove
Okay.
compartment is technically the center console, just right over there.
Okay.
It's kind of where you put everything.
Yeah. How many of these did they make? Do you know?
I'm not sure off the top of my head. I know it wasn't a whole lot.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at least
Wow,
I've only seen 4, I think, around here, including mine.
And
So.
this was the stock spoiler and everything?
Yep. This is everything's original on it. The only thing that was changed was the seats.
And you didn't have to replace your tail lights?
No, and that's another thing is
Just
surprisingly
cleaned 'em
there's. Yeah, just clean them up. There's no major cracks in the taillights either.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they're cool cars. You know, and this is the point where I used to say, let's go up and see what you got under the hood, but that's not where the engine is.
Nope,
No,
it's right here in the back.
Wow.
Alrighty.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
So what is that engine?
So it's a 2.8 liter V6. The best part about it is it's perfectly balanced. So
Yeah.
kind of fun little fact is the firing order is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just
No,
fires just straight across.
I've never
Yep.
seen that.
yeah, and that's the perk of having it in that mid-engine area.
So did you have to take the engine out to detail it and everything, or
Yeah. So when we originally got it,
does it go at the bottom?
Yes, yeah. So the
Ah.
clutch plate was going out, so we had to drop out the rear suspension and then drop the engine out underneath it.
Ooh, how was that?
Not fun.
Not
There's
fun.
not a lot of videos or anything to go off of, so we were kind of fumbling through it and trying to get through it and figure it out. So, yeah, but we replaced all the gaskets, all the seals, all the tubing, and then all the ball joints and all that suspension.
Well, as long as you got it apart, you don't want to do it
yeah.
again. Yeah.
Nope. Yeah, I took it all apart and said, let's just do everything and get it over with.
It just looks great, and I'm surprised because I've seen at least 3, maybe even 4 Fieros at this show, and you almost never see them. And there are 3 or 4 of them here.
Yeah, and I was surprised too. I remember when I first got it, I was like, I've never seen this car. And then all of a sudden, I saw 2 or 3 more, and I was like, whoa, where did these come from?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's this. So is it fun to drive?
Very.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's fun. It's a little 4-speed, so
Yeah.
It's got back in the 80s, they were all about gas conservation, so it's got a little shift light to tell you when. I ignore that. I give it a
little higher.
Yeah, I take it a little higher, and it's it goes pretty fast. It's a pretty light car, so.
And pretty good handling.
Yeah, that's the one thing that surprised me.
Imagine the balance is really good.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about losing the back end or anything, or the front end, so it's pretty nice. Sits right back behind you. You hear that nice hum of the engine.
Yeah, and I think this was a bold thing really for Pontiac to do when they did this, and it was kind of like, I don't know if it worked or not. I think they're great cars. I've always loved them. I always thought it would be fun to have. I've even seen I've seen one with a Ferrari like Testarossa body kit or something.
The body kits, yeah.
I was like, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, they look pretty convincing. I know there was a video of a dude that actually got one in, and he got it all the way to parking
into a Ferrari
in a Ferrari show. Yeah.
And then went, wait a minute.
Yeah, before the judges found him out. So, yeah.
Well, like I said, it was pretty legit looking. Very cool. Close it back up, Ed. This is so cool. You said you got it from your brother. That's not just your brother, that's your twin brother.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
Your twin
My
brother,
twin
who
brother.
will, I guess, also be 23 in a couple.
Correct. Yes.
Probably.
Yep.
And he's got a pretty cool car too, so I might just have to track him down. But Anthony, this is really great.
Thank you.
Fiero forever.
I appreciate it.
Well, Trevor, I just talked to your brother.
Yes, you did.
You guys are twins.
Yeah.
And he's 22, soon to be 23, so I guess you are too. You both have really cool cars. Yours is, in
Thank
fact,
you.
a 91 Toyota Supra, right? And I think that's the only Supra we've ever done. I said that was the only Fiero we did. 91, wasn't that long ago. Actually, it was that long ago.
Yeah, before my time.
Yeah, so it's an old car for you. So how did you get into cars in general?
Well, my dad's always been a big car guy,
Yeah.
so he's always kind of pushed that on us as a kid. And then, of course, I'm a video gamer. I've been raised on Forza Motorsport and Rally Sport Challenge and car games and all that.
And was this one that was...
Directly led into.
So these things were, back in the day, because I knew some people that had these things, and they were really sleepers. It's kind of like, oh, yeah, Toyota, it's a Toyota sports car.
Yeah.
These things were really fast. Most people didn't realize that, but who did were insurance companies.
Yeah.
Because the insurance on these was just stupidly expensive back then. I was like, well, then it must be pretty fast.
Yeah, right? You're a Corvette competitor, kind of.
Kind of, yeah.
Looks a little like it.
It does. It's got kind of some of those styling cues. Where'd you find it?
Meridian, actually, just up the road here in the valley.
That's where you guys live, right? That's
Yeah.
where you're from.
Yep.
Wow.
Just an old lady had it. She bought it off the lot here in the valley in '92, and she couldn't get in and out of it anymore. Her husband couldn't get in and out of it anymore, so it's time to move on.
Well, so it's always lived in southern Idaho. So it's,
Yeah.
other than baking the interiors, the climate's great for the outside of the
Yeah,
car.
yeah, hometown hero right here.
Yeah, totally. Wow. So how many miles on it?
106,000 miles.
From looking at it, that's way more than I would have expected. Has it been repainted?
No, it has not.
No
All original
kidding.
paint.
Wow, they took good care of it.
I try. She had it garaged. It was her baby, so.
Wow, and what do they, flip up headlights?
Yeah.
Same with
You
the
wanna
Fiero. Sure. Oh my goodness. So they're electric apparently, huh?
Yeah, all electric motors in there.
Wow, that's really very silent. That's great. But it really looks stock. You haven't
is.
modified it
Nope.
at all. It is so cool. And obviously the original interior, you got a little bit of signs of use,
Usage,
but,
yeah.
but not much, and it looks pretty comfy.
Yeah, it is. Oh, 8-way power adjustable seats.
No kidding?
Yeah, I mean, it is the
these were
ultimate Grand Tour.
These were expensive, weren't they? They were
Yeah, really expensive.
That's why, and that's why they
This was
didn't.
before Lexus, so
Yeah.
this was top of the line.
It really was. That's, I think, one of the reasons you didn't see that many of them, because it was it was an expensive car. And I see you're still rocking the cassettes.
Yeah, dude, cassette gets used. It plays super fine. My speakers are they're a little tinny, they're a little old, but I have all my favorites in there, so I can't complain.
So is this black or is it actually a deep blue?
It is dark navy blue,
Wow.
and it gets very hot in the sun.
Is it fun to drive? I've never driven one. Are they handle well?
They handle pretty darn well. It's a little bit wallowy. It's a little bit of a heavy car.
Oh, is it?
Because it's more of a Grand Tour.
Yeah.
It's a big freeway cruiser. But if I need to take some turns, she'll handle it.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised how big it is. I never thought of these as being very big, but you stand beside this thing and you can see how it was sort of a C4
Yeah,
vet
big old
competitor.
long doors.
Yeah.
You sit right in between the front and back wheels.
Wow, it's just in great shape. Are those T-tops or what is it?
It's called a sport roof. It's like a Targa. I guess Porsche has coined the word Targa, but Toyota calls it a sport roof.
A sport roof. And where do you keep it?
Right here. Let me show you.
Another electric switch.
Yep. And a big old hatch.
Wow, and that's a big old roof. I thought it was going to be this little slip of a thing.
Nope, it's a big old long
This
roof.
thing is deceptively large.
Yeah, lots of storage.
Yeah. Well, not with the roof in there. or is there room under it? Probably not much.
There's a little bit of room under it. It sits about 3 inches off the bottom of the.
Okay, so a
There's
couple
holders.
briefcases, basically.
Yeah, holders in the wall, basically. But yeah, it just kind of rides in there. There's no clips or anything. You just kind of shove it in.
Oh,
And
really?
it sets right on. There's like a little bump stop right
And
here.
that's it?
Yep.
Does
that's
it slide around at all? Or?
Nope. It kind of keeps itself pretty darn level because these kind of they don't rub, but they just kind of little tight sits in there. It's pretty heavy.
I just can't believe the condition of your original paint, though. That's really good.
Thank
so,
you.
And it's badged turbo. Were they all turbos? They were all turbos. No.
No,
Yes,
there
they weren't.
was a non-turbo model you could get. Turbo was just the top of the line. It was an option.
Wow. Well, close this back down, then let's go see what the Supra Turbo looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so is it a 3-liter?
Yeah, it's a 3-liter inline 6. It's got a single turbo off on the left-hand side there.
Man, that is packed in there.
It is, yeah.
Have you had to do any work on it?
Not really. Ever
That's
since
a
I bought it,
Toyota.
it's been pretty reliable. When I bought it, it had a K&N air filter, but luckily she kept the original, so I put it right back on there.
Is there a lot of computer control to this thing?
Yeah.
Because
Actually,
sometimes they don't like when you change filters.
yeah, they don't. So I was having a little bit of problems with my mass airflow sensor. I put
Yes.
that back on.
It went
perfectly
away.
Fine. Yep.
Yes, I've experienced that before.
Yeah, and then those are actually computer-controlled solenoids that stiffen my suspension automatically.
This thing? No,
Right
that thing. Okay.
on my towers there.
What is this? Some other control module?
Something. I believe it's my. I believe this is my main ECU.
Yeah, your main engine control module?
Yeah.
Yeah. What a weird place to put it.
Right up front. I guess
But at
it's
least
easy
you can
to get to.
it. Yeah. Boy, I wouldn't want to have to do too much work on that. That thing is really packed in
It's
there.
also a really heavy motor.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's an iron block, so it
Wow.
sits really heavily.
It's really cool. And again, you don't see many of them when you do. They're pretty ratted out. And they're a car that a lot of people just never really were aware of. And it was a performance car in the 90s for
Yeah.
sure. I
Yep.
mean,
Early
these things-
90s.
What years did they make this? Do you know?
It was 1986. Well, technically 1986.5, and then to 1992 was the third gen.
I see. So this was like second to the last year before they went away and then came back.
Came
right?
back as the Mark IV. Your Fast and
Yeah.
Furious.
Yeah,
Paul
yeah.
Walker, Supra. Yep.
So video games.
Yep. Exactly.
All right, close that baby back up. Wow, that's so cool. So do you and your brother, race it all? Oh no, we would never. Race.
I'm not gonna say we haven't.
We'll
maybe once or
We'll
twice.
just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Really cool. And I love that it's all in the fam. You guys are twins, and yet you have different cars of the same era.
We got our own personality.
Yeah, you do.
Thank you.
Trevor, this is awesome. Thank you. Well, Mike, I think this is the only one of these here.
Yeah, most definitely.
Not exactly a cream puff.
No.
Not exactly a cream puff.
No.
But really a piece of history. This is a 1955 Caddy factory limo
Yeah.
from the factory like this.
Yes.
That's just amazing.
Yeah.
So you were telling me that this is basically an Idaho car.
Yeah.
How did you come to have it?
Well, I'm a contractor. Was doing a work on a house, and this was in the alley. And I asked her if it was for sale, and she said maybe. And her son said yeah, and her husband and her son bought it to fix up,
Oh, I see.
and then he passed on.
Oh. So
So-
then the son wasn't so interested
No,
in it.
he wasn't
she
interested
definitely
in it.
wasn't.
No, she wasn't.
Oh man.
But he did some work on it and found on historical work, found that it was originally bought by the Sun Valley Lodge
in Ketchum. So
in-
Sun Valley, the
yep,
ski.
Yeah, the ski resort.
Back in 55. To
yeah.
shuttle.
Shuttle back and forth from the airport. Yeah.
So it's, I guess I would say it's lived its entire life in Idaho,
Yep.
right? You can tell it's not real rusty, and things don't rust very much out here.
No, thank goodness we don't have the salt on the roads
Yeah.
and the salt from the ocean.
So it looks like, I mean, the chrome just looks great. It hasn't been re-chromed though, has it?
No, it
That
hasn't
held
been
up.
re-chromed yet. I
Yeah.
think back then they made chrome like
They
it's
made-
supposed to be.
Well, and, I mean, even these Dagmars are like, they're very prominent. It's like
They
you,
are.
you cannot miss those. So are you thinking of leaving it this way? Are you thinking of restoring it?
You know, I was told by a car guy that I should replace the chrome that's missing and leave it.
I tell you, there's a lot to be said for its originality.
Yeah.
And it's forever long. I mean,
And that's why I bought it, was the originality.
yes,
So,
and you just don't see them.
No.
But I came by earlier, and you had the doors open,
Yeah.
and I'm looking at the thing, and it's got this ridiculously garish interior, and I
Yeah.
thought, well, that's a custom job,
Yeah.
boy, it's all patinaed out, but
Right.
a custom, it's not.
no.
This
no.
is original Caddy fabric.
That's from what I understand. Originally Caddy fabric.
Where would you find this if you needed it? I mean, my goodness,
You know, a guy told me that he found some in his shop a while back and he didn't know where it was from. And he felt this on the seat and he said, that's where that's from.
so you actually know where there's some more of it?
I do know where there's some more of it.
I would grab
Yeah.
that if I were you.
Yeah.
It's crazy though. The dash is padded
Yeah.
and it's not split or anything.
No.
You know, the gauging, the rest of it's all patinaed out, and you've got a very what is that? A stereo magic.
Yeah, it's a Magnavox, I think.
Oh, no
or
kidding.
Motorola.
This
I
is
think it was added after the
early
fact.
aftermarket,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So these being a limo, these are jump seats, right?
Yeah, these are jump seats. So if you needed extra passengers, you put these down, and when you don't want them, you just fold them up, and
And there's your footrest.
there's your footrest for the back seat.
I mean, and look at the vents underneath. I
Yeah,
mean,
air conditioning and 55.
no kidding.
Air conditioning and power windows.
Power windows too.
Yeah.
You know, your headliner is perfect,
Yeah,
and it's all velour. This
Yeah.
is just crazy.
I'm just glad I found it when I did, and it didn't set for another few years.
Well, how long have you had it?
I've only had it for 2 years.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh man. So have you had it at many shows?
Just this show here last year and this year.
So how do people react to this?
They love it. I mean, just like I did. That's the only reason I bought it.
Because it's just so crazy.
It's cool. It's so crazy.
It is really cool.
I'm not a car guy, but
how could you pass it up?
you
right?
know, and then the fins.
Yeah, the fin. You know, this is a 55, but it's they're still starting to hint at we're going to put
Yeah,
fins on cars.
the 57s
and then
and
59 got
yeah.
crazy. And this also had the magic, the hidden.
Yeah, if you run out of gas and you don't know,
You ain't-
you're gonna be hurting because there's the gas fuel.
Which is
It's pretty hidden.
It's clever, but I always worried about having a set of electrical
Electrical
wires by your gas filler. That never felt good to
No.
me. But I don't know anybody that's been blown up by it, so
No.
it must have worked. And then these guys are what, air intakes for the
Air intakes for the air conditioning, I think.
golly. And so it's a Fleetwood. Okay, it's a Fleetwood.
Yeah, it's
and
a
was
Fleetwood.
it? And I guess this is the original color.
That's what I understand.
Brown.
Because everything that we've pulled off of it, there's no other paint colors underneath it.
Brown.
Yeah, brown.
Brown. That was an interesting choice for Sun Valley to go with.
I hope that's right. But that's what I was told.
So yeah, I gotta believe that people do kind of, and especially when they get close to it and they see the interior. Is that?
Oh yeah.
I always ask about.
Oh, everybody asks first thing, is that original?
That can't be original.
Can't be original.
Can't be original.
Yeah. And yeah.
It's
to my
a-
knowledge, it's original.
It's actually amazing. It's in as good a shape as
Yeah.
it's in.
Yeah.
So you've got. We talked earlier. I mean, this would have come originally with, I guess, a 331 or something, but it
Yeah.
doesn't have that.
No,
It doesn't even like what it has.
No,
Yeah.
no, it does not. It's a Cadillac. It doesn't like. have
Doesn't
the
like
Chevy
other
engine
stuff.
in it.
Yeah. So the Chevy engine is it's rejecting it.
Yes.
It's rejecting
Yeah.
it. So you're gonna change the engine, or do you know?
No,
You're just gonna
just
get
leave it.
Get it going.
We'll get it running.
Yeah, I would if it was me, because I mean you could restore this thing. It only costs you $150,000. Or you could leave it like this and have a blast.
It's fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch it.
The few times we've driven it down the road, heads turn, people stop, point.
Oh yeah. Okay, so 1955 Caddy Fleetwood factory limo.
Series
from
75.
Sun Valley,
From Sun
Idaho.
Valley, Idaho.
Man, Mike, thanks for bringing it out.
Thank you.
What a trip.
Thank you.
Well, Donnie, I've always loved Jeepsters. This is a 50 Jeepster,
Yep.
but I've never seen one quite like this one.
They didn't come stock this way.
This isn't factory, you're saying?
This isn't factory. The body, everything is factory, but the tires definitely would not have fit on it this way on a stock
It's
one.
up in the air a little bit,
Yes.
too. So you built this, but you built this a long time ago. You started
Yes.
it when you were...
14 years old.
So
our-
like 2 or 3 years ago, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
So, I mean, as a 14-year-old, this was your vision, or how did this happen?
It wasn't really a vision, it was just what was there and what presented itself and ran with it.
What you had available to you, what came before you, right?
Yeah.
So what's the running gear?
So the running gear is from a 1978 Blazer.
Oh, okay.
My family had a 78 Blazer that was our family vehicle.
Yeah.
And in 1983, when I was 13, it was rolled 2.5 times and totaled. The body was damaged, but the frame was still straight.
Oh, okay.
So we kept the frame, and a search was on then for me, being a 14-year-old kid, getting a vehicle that I'd be able to drive when I turned 16. So
I mean, did you have a Jeepster in mind, or?
did not have a Jeepster in mind. I grew up in a little town called Ely, Nevada, really desolate, and outside of town, out hunting rabbits, riding motorcycles. This was sitting out there at the bottom of a...
Just out in a ravine, right?
In a ravine.
Out in a ditch.
And it'd been sitting there for quite some time, nearly 30 years. Just an abandoned vehicle.
But there's no, I mean, things don't rust there.
No,
I mean,
they don't rust, and this...
And there's a lot of metal in this, too.
The old metal was a lot more stout than it is today.
So was it pretty rust-free?
It was pretty rust-free.
Really?
You know, it wasn't too much work to get it back to look like this. Lots and lots of sanding. So with my dad, he worked for a propane plant. So he had the boom truck that lifts up the propane tanks.
Yeah, yeah.
So we went out, winched it up out of the ravine, took it back home. We pulled the body off of it, modified the frame. We had to move the engine and transmission back 9.5 inches to get it to fit inside of here, but
Dimensionally, it actually worked pretty well on this,
it
right?
very, very well. There's a few of these have been done, and the Blazer frame and the old Wagoneer frame are typically put underneath the Willys Jeepsters to make them a 4-wheel drive.
So now to me, this is a Willys Jeepster. It's always been a Willys Jeepster.
Yep.
But I tend to catch some flack when I say that, because the purists say, well, no, it's Willis. Yeah, well, whatever. It's a
Yeah.
Willys Jeepster, huh?
Out west, we've always called it a
Well, there
Willys.
you go. Then that's what
You're
it is.
talking to those guys back east. It might just be the accent.
It could be the accent. So a split windshield on. Were they all split windshields?
They're all stock. Everything on the body is totally stock as it was when it came from production. Like I said, the 2-wheel drive, it sat low,
Yeah.
similar to this Ranchero, if not even a little lower. It was a beach cruiser, came with a little Hurricane 6 engine in it.
Yeah, I mean, you even outfitted it with a windshield. I mean, this thing just looks great.
Yes, and I use it. I go out rock crawling.
So this thing,
with
this
the
is
Jeep clubs.
This ain't a show pony.
No, it's been used and abused.
And I respect that. So you kept the inside pretty Jeepster too, didn't you?
Yes, everything inside other than the seats. So literally pulled the steering column is out of the 78 Blazer.
Oh, okay. So you're tilting everything.
My tilt and everything, my brake pedal, gas pedal, those are out of the Blazer. Transfer case, it's full-time 4-wheel drive, turbo 350 transmission.
Oh, it's full-time 4-wheel.
Yes.
Wow, you're not screwing around.
But the dash is all original. That's how they came. other than the CD player.
Right.
And I added the other gauges because
They work.
Because they work. The original gauges were 6-volt.
LL Bean edition. Were these Ford seats or something?
This was out of a Subaru Outback.
Oh, no kidding.
So, like I said, I use it. I'll go out and do snow runs and stuff in the wintertime on snow trails, and wanted to have some nice heated seats. So
these are heated?
So these are heated and power seats. So
I can't
all the comfort factors.
All the comforts of home. Yeah. And so then, what I noticed about this earlier on, when you get back here, it almost looked to me, you'd done some customization back here and this was rolled and everything, but that's actually, is that the stock shape?
That's the stock. So a lot
you just don't see that when it's down so low.
Correct. So stock, the back bumper came out like another 12 inches.
Yeah.
And there was a Continental kit, so your spare tire was back here, but it was this high off the ground instead of up here where you can't really see that feature.
So even this wasn't rusted?
No.
Wow.
There was a couple of rust spots on some of the quarter panels and a few holes here and there. Like I said, with my dad, this was a father-son project.
Yeah.
14 years old, this is what we're doing.
Okay.
It was Dad showing me how to do stuff, learning everything about stuff. So all of the holes and the rust that was there was pulled out and replaced with another metal, and everything's been brazed in with brass.
Oh, that's interesting.
Brass welding on it because
Wow.
it stuck to the metal better than the standard.
Wow. So you don't have the Hurricane 6 anymore, I'm assuming.
No, I do not.
Well, let's go have a look and see what you popped in there. So, well, obviously you use it, which is good.
I use
you
it.
Use it.
It's not all chromed up, but it is a workhorse. The standard Chevy 350 that is put in so many vehicles.
Yeah, it is kind of the standard, isn't it?
Yep.
Is that an Offenhauser or what is it?
It's an Offenhauser,
Is it?
open port intake. And like I said, my dad was the manager of the propane plant in Ely, Nevada, so everything that we had ran on propane.
This runs on propane?
So this runs on straight propane.
It still runs on propane?
Still runs on propane. I have a 32-gallon tank in the back there underneath the top that I go to U-Haul to fill up or to barbecue, whatever. When I go on my trail runs and stuff, I can only get about 200 miles out of a tank.
Okay.
So I'll bring my barbecue tank as my spare, and if I get low or run out, I just swap the barbecue tank in.
So you got a gas can? Well, no, but I got a
yes,
got
exactly.
a propane.
Yep.
Wow. So how does propane run? Does this thing run pretty much like a?
It runs very, very well. It's a little bit more compression, but back in the 80s, you'd have a dual fuel, so you could run propane or gas, and you could flip the switch and it would just go from propane to gas. But we just went straight propane. Typically, you're going to lose about 10% of horsepower just going straight across, but it does burn extremely clean. When I change the oil, it's just as clean as it was when I put the oil in.
Well, even being 10% down, this thing's still pumping out a lot more than Hurricane 6.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Came with it.
Yeah,
so this thing is probably fairly unstoppable, I would think.
I've driven over some cars with it, and
was that intentional?
That was intentional.
Okay,
it was
that's
a little exhibition deal, but yeah, it's been an extremely fun project, and 14 to 18, a young boy can get in trouble.
Yeah. This kind of kept you out of trouble, I bet?
This literally kept me out of any kind of trouble because I was learning about engines, I was learning about welding, I was learning about cars.
And I'm guessing you're never going to get rid of this.
No,
never.
It's been with me. It's my 14 to 18, you have your first girlfriends. Well,
this is it, right?
This was the first girlfriend.
We're going to just stay together. Close it back up, Donnie. This thing is so cool. And running on propane. Wow. So have you been to the Emmett show before?
I've been out here years and years ago, and this is not a typical turnout.
They're parking stuff out in the hinterlands right now because they're just still coming in.
Yes.
Well, I got to tell you, I've always loved the Jeepster. I love this one even more. 1950 Jeepster on a 78 Blazer, right?
That's correct.
Donnie, you're my hero.
Thank you. Thanks for
Way
coming
cool.
out.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
you bet. Oh man, the Emmett Show and Shine's a blast. You'll see just about everything here. It's warm, but it's worth it. Check it out.